I visited the location of my favorite 100 famous views of Edo, painted by Hiroshige Ando, to see what the scene looks like today. Naito Shinjuku in Yotsuya, 086, depicts a view looking toward Yotsuya from around Shinjuku 3 Chome on Shinjuku-dori. First, please take a look at Applemap to see where we are. Roughly speaking, it is around the east side of the current Isetan Shinjuku. Using a slightly more enlarged map, I will add a red gradient to the location where Hiroshige's viewpoint would have been. It is said that this is the view looking toward Shinjuku 2 Chome from the current Shinjuku-dori street. This map is covered by an old map of the time. In the center of the map, you can see the word Oiwake, which was called Omkado because this was the dividing road between the Omkado road going west and the Koshu-kado road going southwest. In reality, the Koshu-kado road was heading south from this old map, so I have corrected it by cutting it out a little to reflect the actual situation. This area was a post town located between Nihonbashi and Takado on the Koshu-kado, and was one of the 4 post towns in Edo along with Senju, Itabashi, and Shinagawa. In 1590, Kiyonori Naito, who was the general magistrate of the Kanto region, received a large tract of land from Ieyasu Tokugawa, who told him, "I will give you as much land as you can ride your horse on," and settled there. In 1698, an inn was established on the north side of the premises of the Mikao Naito family, which became the lord of the Takado domain in Shinshu, and was called Naito Shinjuku in contrast to Takeda-juku. Please see a more extensive map to see beyond the Omkado and Koshu-kado, which separate from Naito Shinjuku to the north and south. The red road is Omkado and the blue road is Koshu-kado, and I have drawn lines along both old roads on the present map. Omkado was a road used to transport lime from Nariki and Asaji, beyond Ome, by horseback at the beginning of the Edo period when Edo Castle was being rebuilt. For this reason, the road was called Nariki-michi until before the Meiji era, 1868 to 1912. Edo Castle was a pure white castle like today's Himeji Castle, and the original building material, plaster, was transported from this Omkado to Edo via Naito Shinjuku. Later, the Omkado became an important distribution route for booming Ome cotton, sweet potatoes from Kodaira, charcoal from Akutama, and vegetables from the Itsuokechi-kado. In fact, the Omkado was also called the Koshu-Yura-kado because it passed through the Daibasatsu Pass and rejoined the Koshu-kado east of Kofu. It is said that the Koshu-kado was built to serve as an evacuation route for the shogun to Kofu in the event of the fall of Edo Castle when Tokugawa Ieyasu entered Edo. As a result of the Battle of Sekigahara, Kai Province came under the direct control of the Tokugawa clan, and the areas along the Koshu-kado were ruled by Tokugawa fiefs or Tokugawa lords, and the Naito family was one of them. Here is a map captured from the Tokyo History Map website. You can see that at the end of Hiroshige's viewpoint, indicated by the red gradient, there are 4 groups of gons, the Iga, Nagoro, Koga, and Aoki groups, called the 25 Horsemen group, which were placed in position. These were prepared to escort the shogun to Kofu Castle in the event of an emergency. Today, the Hyakunincho district in Akubo is named after the Iga clan that moved into the area. Teisaji Temple, a Pure Land Buddhism temple, was built in 1668 with a donation of land from Shigeori, the eldest son of Masakatsu Naito, lord of the Takado domain in Shinshu, and prospered as the family temple of the Naito family. In addition to the 6 Edo Rokujizo statues built to mark the entrances and exits of the city of Edo, there is also a statue of Enma, who was worshipped by the people of Edo. In those days, the temple was also the center of the bustle of the inn, with a Nakamise, a shopping street, built along the approach and in the precincts of the temple. Please see the picture book Edo Souvenirs by Hiroshige. Only 3 clans, the Shinano Takado, Takashima, and Iida clans, used this Koshu-kado for their pilgrimage, while the other clans used the Nakazendo. Even so, Naito Shinjuku developed as a logistics center as grapes from the Koshu area, silk from Hachiji, gunpowder from Chichibu, and other goods were brought to the area. Another aspect of Naito Shinjuku's history is that of an entertainment district. Although the area outside Yotsuya Ukiyo was outside of Edo, in 1697, 5 townspeople, including Kihei Takamatsu, a master of Asakusa Abakacho, petitioned the shogunate to establish a new lodging house by paying 600 ryo in gold to the shogunate as a freight payment. Since Takado, the first inn on the Koshu-Kado, was about 16 kilometers away, the ostensible reason was to secure convenient lodging, but in reality, the purpose was to develop a new downtown area. In this newly developed lodging town, more than 50 unauthorized brothels, ostensibly inns, but actually prostitution districts, lined the streets, and the area was very crowded with playgoers who came from Edo. However, due to excessive public morals and complaints from the proprietors of Yoshiwara, the largest entertainment district in Edo, Naito Shinjuku was forced to close down after only a little over 20 years. In April 1772, Naito Shinjuku reopened after more than 50 years. The ostensible reason for the reopening was to increase the distribution of goods to Edo. In reality, however, it was an attempt on the part of the shogunate to use the revenues from the downtown area to secure finances. With the reopening of the inns, Naito Shinjuku became bustling again, and by 1808 it had grown into a large entertainment district with 50 inns and 80 pull-out tea houses. At this time, up to 150 prostitutes, called Mimoriana, were officially allowed in the area, but it is said that the actual number was more than twice as many. Let's take a closer look at the actual Hiroshige painting. The brown horse's hips and tail occupy 1/3 of the picture. This is Hiroshige's signature composition. Beyond the 2 horses, we can also see the legs of the stable boys. On the left is an inn, and you can almost hear the conversation between the owner and the traveler who recommends staying there. The thickly green area in the back is the forest of either Teisaji Temple or the Naito family's water guard station, and a white horse carrying a load of straw-covered straw on its back is also depicted below it. At the bottom of the painting, several pieces of horse manure on the road are depicted. The Koshu-Kado played a major role as an industrial road, and this tells us that horses and horse manure were an everyday scene for the townspeople of that time. If you look closely, you can see that the horses' hooves are covered with sandals, just like humans. Horseshoes did not come into use in Japan until the Meiji period, 1868 to 1912. During the Edo period, native horses had relatively strong hooves, and horses used to carry loads were made to wear sandals called yumagatsu, horseshoes, to prevent their hooves from being damaged. A horse's sandals lasted only about 8 kilometers, and it was necessary to have the horses change their sandals each time, so spare sandals were a must-have for the horsemen. It can be said that this painting by Hiroshige contains all the motifs of Naito Shinjuku at that time. The Shinjuku Museum of History, located in Yotsuya Sanaicho, displays a reconstructed model of Naito Shinjuku as it was then. The road joining the street from the right in the foreground is Koshu-Kado, and the wide road running vertically to the back is today's Shinjuku-dori, beyond which is Yotsuya. The lower left is the current Isetan area, and across from it is Ukiyo-e Dango. In the Edo period, a drone flying over Hiroshige's viewpoint would have created this atmosphere. I actually went to this location. First of all, the Ukiyo-e Dango, which was on the right side of Hiroshige's viewpoint, is still in existence, although it is inside a building. Now, standing in Hiroshige's point of view, the view looks like this. To the right are Meru and a movie theater. Underground here is the Meru-Naochi subway line and the Fukuda-shin subway line, which crosses the street. A little further ahead, Meiji-dori crosses on either side, and the Toei subway Shinjuku line intersects the Meru-Naochi line underground. When Hiroshige painted this picture, the population of Japan was about 30 million, of which about 21 million were farmers. Horses, including farm horses and stagecoach horses, numbered about 600,000, and were used as family members, workers, and means of transportation. I tried to fit the modern landscape into Hiroshige's painting. Since I wanted to show the horse in the foreground, I put a car in the foreground, which is positioned like a horse in modern times. Naito Shinjuku, once a transportation hub at the intersection of Ome-Kato and Koshu-Kato, has now become a railroad transportation hub for JR, private railways, and subways, and has been transformed into Shinjuku Station, which boasts the highest number of passengers in Japan after the Naito was removed. As an entertainment district, Naito Shinjuku changed its name to Kabukicho and became world famous as a nightlife district that never sleeps 24 hours a day. The area that was the actual center of Naito Shinjuku has become even more popular abroad than Kabukicho as a gender-free town called Shinjuku Nichome. Hiroshige's paintings depict horses and horse manure in everyday life, but from a different perspective. They are also paintings filled with various thoughts and ideas that led to today's Shinjuku.